Om Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shlitva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. How Sri Ramakrishna says in the beginning of this paragraph on this subject, it is not necessary for all to practice great austerity, but I went through great suffering. I used to lie down on the ground with my head resting on a mound or a pillow. I hardly noticed the passing of the days. I only called on God and wept, Mother, Mother. With that it begins. Then M gives his whole 2 years of experience as what he has undergone has been mentioned there. Finally, Master is telling him to observe Ekadashi. Practice a little more, somebody will come and to tell you the right path. Observe Ekadashi. Ekadashi, we saw the various advantages that we get from Ekadashi, sitting close to God and with unbroken, slowly developing that unbroken thought of God. Whole day, knowingly or unknowingly, you are thinking of God because you are keeping, you may take I will not forget God today, but everything reminds you, makes you forget God. But here, when you fast and say, I should not forget God, the fasting is constantly supporting because it is something you are depriving yourself of. If food is being deprived, the exhaustion that you feel, a loss of energy, the need of energy, all these things that you feel will make you support that one thought, I should not forget God. I must be sitting close to God. Today's Ekadashi, I am observing that one background will be constantly there. That supporting background is the fasting with all other advantages. The saving of time and energy and diverting it to the divine is upahasa. There are other advantages according to our needs. Ayurvedic says something, sadhana, pure spiritual practices has some other meaning. This is the Ekadashi meaning, what it means for a general person in the world, especially a householder. While listening, you are my very own, my relative, otherwise, why should you come here frequently? You are my very own. Who is telling? God. You are my relative. Don't, if this Basavana, this one, some songs are there. Yarivaru, don't ask. Nammavaru, go on telling. Do never ask, who is this? Go on telling, he's mine. So God understands, he's mine. We estrange him. Oh, God there, as if he's never related to us. He is our antaranga, he is our bahiranga, he is the indweller, in him we dwell. Still we feel an estrangement with each other. But God doesn't find. God sees himself pervading all of us. Like space pervading all objects, God pervades us all. While listening to Kirtan, I had a vision of Rakal in the midst of the Krishna's companion in Vrindavan. Narendra belongs to a very high level. Hirananda too, a devotee of the master from Sindh. Too, how childlike his nature is. What a sweet disposition he has. I want to see him too. God longs to see where there is no ego, there is humility, there is dependence, there is love. And who can maximum God loves a person who loves all, more than loving him. If he loves all beings, all people, he hated, he has got it up forever. Never the person will be able to see mistakes in others, but accept the world as it is because it is being run by God. Once I saw the companions of Chaitanya, not in a trance, but with these very eyes. Formerly I was in such an exalted state of mind that I could see all these things with my naked eyes, but now I see them in Samadhi. I saw the companions of Chaitanya with these naked eyes. I think I saw you there, and Balram too. You must have noticed that when I see certain people, I jump up with a start. Do you know why? A man feels that way when he sees his own people after a long time. The relationship between God and Bhakta and Bhagwan, God and his devotee, is a wonderful relationship, and it moves towards the eternity. With my family also, I am deeply interested, deeply related, everything I may feel, but we are moving towards one separation, eternal separation, never to meet again. We are moving towards death and destruction. Here, my relationship with God, where He is going to take me into eternity, unending joy, bliss and peace. This is the great difference between world and God. My relationship with world is going to break definitely one day or the other, never to gain back again. Either the one whom I love may pass away or I may pass away, and the whole story ends there. Never to repeat again, never to meet or see again. But in case of the imaginary world of God and entering into dreaming of it, we reach the reality. We reach eternity. My relationship of eternal relationship with God becomes real. This is the main thing we have to remember. Because most of the people have that understanding, oh, all this is imaginary. But imagination of real makes us reach the real. Imagination of the unreal makes us reach the unreal. I used to pray to the mother, crying, Mother, if I do not find the devotees, I will surely die. I used to pray to the Divine Mother, crying, Mother, if I don't find the devotees, I will surely die. With whom can they live? Please bring them to me immediately. In those days, whatever desire arose in my mind would come to pass. I planted a Tulsi grove in Panchavati in order to practice japa and meditation. I wanted very much to fence it around with bamboo sticks. Soon afterwards, a bundle of bamboo sticks and some string were carried by a flood tide of Ganges right in front of the Panchavati. A temple servant noticed them and joyfully told me how the small desires in our mind gets actually fulfilled. There is another world. We are in a world which is perceivable by five senses and mind standing behind that. Intellect can manipulate and make us use any resource of this universe. But there is another world also. A world entirely different from the world in which we are living, pursued by the five senses and mind. There is neither mind nor five senses in that realm. It cannot reach. It exists by its own right in a transcendental realm. There is from where all this whole governing takes place of this universe. A consciousness, Vishwa Chaitanya, the universal consciousness, pervades the universe and governs the whole universe. So there we go and touch. So that exists governing all our lives. We do not know. Why I am here in this fashion at this moment is decided by that power, which knows every bit of my past, present and future. In that state of divine exaltation, I could no longer perform the formal worship. The worship ends one day. Worship begins a day when we feel ourselves different from God. And the day we recognize ourselves inseparable part of God, eternally related to each other, then that day the worship ends. No more need of worship is there, nor there is any possibility of doing any worship anymore. That oneness, always the end of worship, the process of I am entering into the world of puja, worship of God. And every day I am doing worship and offering. When does it end? Because God is eternal and my imagination also is eternal. I am waking up God in the morning, taking Him for washing, giving Him bath, this, that, giving Him food. Everything is going on a imaginary world of my own. But the whole thing is a reflection of a reality. And this realm in which we are living, beyond the realm there is a management thing, as if somebody is managing whole of the universal affairs by a remote control. It's a conscious entity. God is a conscious entity. Nature is a conscious entity. They are not inert. They are managing the inert. All matter is there. Nature pervades all this. Nature is taken that form and standing there and governing it also. The conscious power that pervades all this and backs the governing is what we call Chaitanya. The whole thing, I am needing something. A thought comes in my mind, whether I need this, it will be fulfilled. because he is in constant tune with nature and God. When you are in tune with nature and God at all times, like a baby in womb, it is always in its own antar dhyana, and it is just receiving the grace to grow. He is not seeking or anything. Nature is providing. Like that, Jiva's necessities are provided by nature when it is one with. Why does the womb take care of supplying the food? Is because it is totally dependent on this. So he doesn't have any other source, any other means. Like that, the Jiva's condition. All the Jivas are according to karma, they get sukha dukkha. But a sadhaka, spiritual aspirant who is aspiring for God, his needs are supplied by the divine. That's why Sri Ramakrishna is giving the example of his own life, that how the bamboos and other things appeared there, and a boy noticed and brought it to the notice of Sri Ramakrishna, and they could accomplish whatever you think. Being in tune with divine and God, it has to be fulfilled by the divine and God alone. Afterwards, a bundle of bamboo sticks and some strings were carried by the flood tide. A temple servant noticed them and joyfully told me, in that state of divine exaltation, I could no longer perform the formal worship. Worship had fallen away. Mother, I said, who will look after me? I have not the power to take care of myself. I want to listen only to talk about thee. I want to feed thy devotees. I want to give a little help to those whom I chance to meet. How will all this be possible, Mother? Give me a rich man who stand by me. That's why Mathur Babu did so much to serve me. I said further, certainly I shall not have any children, Mother, but it is my true desire that a boy with sincere love for God should always remain with me. Give me such a boy. That is the reason Rakhal came here. Those whom I think as my own are part and parcel of me. An important statement of Sri Ramakrishna. You see, the whole story is going on. It is unfurling. It is the whole Leela is getting manifest. Sri Ramakrishna is assuring a sadhaka, whatever you aspire for, whatever you need, whatever your things to be arranged, God will do. Be in tune with nature and God. All that you need will be taken care. Yoga kshemam vahamyaham. I take care of all your needs and protection. Yoga kshemam vahamyam. When you constantly think of me. Ananyas chintayanto ma. Constantly think of me while doing work, while moving about, when conversing with people, when attending to the duties, you are sweeping, think of me. The bhavana is your internal world. Action is external. You may be talking to some people, at the same time internally you can be calling on God. Just like Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of toothache. How the toothache will be there, constantly pestering from within. Whatever you do, whatever you attend to, or two lovers in the world, how intensely they will be thinking of each other and doing all the duties where they are placed. Their whole mind is on the other. Like that, if you are there, just think of God, everything will be arranged. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha paryupasate. They, in and through all their activities, they are worshipping God. Paryupasate, in every way. Giving food to someone, eating something, all this becomes a worship. Paryupasate, it becomes a paryupasana. Whatever you do becomes a paryupasana if you think of God, keep thinking of God. Even fights, wars to attend to, you may just be thinking of God. It will never become a karma. It dissolves. That Sri Ramakrishna is assuring that it will be taken care. All that, whatever you need, will be supplied to you by the divine if you are in tune with nature and in tune with God. I wanted to listen only to talk about thee. I wanted to feed thy devotees. I want to give help to those whom I chance to meet. How will all this be possible, Mother? If you give me a rich man to stand by me, that is why Mathur Babu did so much to serve me. Because if I am dependent on God for everything, God is obliged to help you in every way that is possible for Him. I said further, certainly I shall not have any children, Mother, but it is my desire that a boy with sincere love for God should always remain with me. Give me such a boy. That is the reason Rakhal came to me, whom I think of as my own. If you think God as you belong to Him eternally and His own, God also thinks in the same way, reciprocates your understanding. You are my own forever. Master, again for the Panchavati accompanied by M. My master started again for the Panchavati accompanied by M. No one else was with him. Sri Ramakrishna, with a smile, narrated to me various incidents of the past years of the life. Master, you see, one day I saw a strange figure covering the whole space from Kali temple to Panchavati. Do you believe this? M remained silent with a wonder. He plucked one or two leaves from the branch in the Panchavati and put them in his pocket. You see, Master is telling, I will read again. You see, one day a strange figure covering the whole space from Kali temple to Panchavati. One day I saw a strange figure. Figure means it is as a body. Figure covering the whole space from Kali temple to Panchavati. It is quite a long distance, maybe about 300-400 feet. That huge figure to the dimension, like Hanuman taking huge form sometimes becoming small anima mahima, all these siddhis with which, like that I saw a huge form in Panchavati. Do you believe in it? Yeah, asking. Do you believe this? Yam remained silent with wonder. He plucked one or two leaves from that branch in the Panchavati and put them in his pocket. Master, see there, that branch has been broken. I used to sit under it. Yam, I took a young twig from that tree. I have it at home. Master with a smile. Why? Yam, I feel happy when I look at it. After all, this is cover. This place will be considered very holy, Sri Ramakrishna is telling. Yeah, Ramakrishna is asking, why? Why did you take the piece of the twig of the tree? M is replying, I feel very happy looking at it. After all, this is over. After all this is over, this place will be considered very holy. The tree will one day go away. All things. The Leela will be ended one day. Master going away. Tree going to end its life one day. But the place will be always considered very holy. Master smiling. What kind of holy place? Like Panchavati? Almost every year, for some time, the Master had been attending the religious festival at Panihati. It was evening. Master was sitting on the small couch in his room, absorbed in meditation on Divine Mother. The evening worship in the temples began with the music of gong and conch shells. Yam was going to spend the night with the Master. It was evening. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting on the small couch of his room, absorbed in meditation on Divine Mother. That was his usual trend and thinking. And the evening worship in the temples began with the music going on and conch shell. Yam was going to spend the night with the Master. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.